What? Me again? Yeah, it's me. It's Bob. And, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I am out here on the Laurel Highlands Hiking Trail. Just got dropped off at Ohio Pile. And, this trip, we're hiking about 20 miles. 2 nights. Just getting my legs back. Got a lot of things to update you guys on since it has been quite a while since I posted anything. Quite a bit's happened. But still on track to start the Appalachian Trail in the spring of 2024. So stay tuned. Well, there's the first few steps on the actual trail. And it's not so much the steps, but each step is inclined backwards. So you gotta kind of throw yourself forward in order to compensate for the weight on your backpack and the slant of the steps. But I made it with only mild grunting, groaning, and bitching. And we are continuing on up here. It's about 8 o'clock in the morning on a Monday in October. Ooh. Started about an hour later than I had originally intended, but the fog, excuse me, the fog was pretty bad getting here. So we took our time. So here we are. This is my scenery right now. Laurel Highlands Hiking Trail. LHHT, for those in the know. Climbed up a bit of a hill. We're now on a nice, flat, wide open trail. Big rocks. Still pretty green. You can see autumn has already begun. Some yellow in the trees, but I expect in the next couple of weeks it's going to be absolutely spectacular out here. So what I'm doing here is hiking, obviously. But one is I enjoy hiking, and I love getting out here. But specifically, in 6 months, I hike the Appalachian Trail. April 1st, 2024. Out of Harper's Ferry, West by God, Virginia. I'm going on northbound flip-flop. And I need to hike as many miles between now and then as I can, so that I can hike as many miles as I can when I do. The Appalachian Trail is a 2,200-mile trail that runs from Springer Mountain, Georgia, to Mount Katahdin in Maine. And it's a 2,200, or approximately 2,200, continuous walking trail. And those who do it all in one one go at it, I call it the thru-hikers. And it's a pretty big accomplishment. And pretty big accomplishment for athletes and avid hikers and young, fit people. But I think it's a goal worth trying for a fat old guy like myself. And I'm preparing for this. I have been preparing for this for over a year and a half now. I've had some ups and downs and some trials and tribulations that I'm going to get into later on, but been pretty much solely focused on preparing for this journey of a lifetime. I know that's often said, but this really is. This is be the most ambitious thing I've individually ever attempted, by far. And I am pretty excited. So yeah, it is pretty here. The sun is up. We're just on the western side of the hill, I believe. It's supposed to be nice today. It's supposed to be sunny and clear. And I think the high today, right around 80. 8% chance of rain. And the trail so far has been pretty dry and spiderweb free, so I might not be the first one through here this morning. And if the trail is this nice the whole way through, I'll be happy, but I know it ain't. I know I got 2 more inclines today, and then the big mother first thing tomorrow right outside the shelter is a 1,200 foot ascent in less than a mile, I think it is. And I've actually hiked this part of the trail before 20 years ago. I talked about that in my one video where this is where my wife and I hiked all those many years ago with 6,000 pounds on my back. But we did it the other way. We came down the hills. And I remember that was tough as hell. Just because the boots I was wearing. Couple of big old pebbles there. Reminds me of Prudential Insurance Company. Maybe not. When I got back from my last hike a couple weeks ago, I started a list of things I must not forget. At the top of that list was a handkerchief and allergy meds. Today I forgot allergy meds and a handkerchief. So good thing I made that list. Handkerchief, allergy meds. Dumbass. Okay, first sit down of the day. I'm somewhere either near or a little past 2 miles, don't know. I haven't seen a mile marker in a while. About halfway up this hill, found me a, I don't know if you can see that or not, but a rock there. And I thought, maybe I'll sit down. Take me a couple minute break. It's going on 9:30 now. So I've been hiking for about an hour and a half. And so yeah, taking a little break. I don't know if I mentioned it, but we're going a little bit over 6 miles today to the high pile shelters. I'm expecting to get there early afternoon. I didn't want to push too hard today because tomorrow I got a big push. My biggest hike ever. Tomorrow's like 12 miles. I said 11, but it's actually, with the approach trails and everything I get, it's actually a little bit over 12 miles. And to start it all off tomorrow, I climb a big old hill. One that I've hiked down before. And it was a nightmare hiking down, so I'm just... And it starts the day. So, gonna get an early start in the morning. Because this time of year we got about 12 hours of daylight. And I know I'll be going less than 1 mile an hour up that hill. So I gotta make sure I use all the time I have, that way I get in before dark. Allergies, allergy pills, and a handkerchief. I'm gonna keep saying it because I can't believe I forgot it. As you probably noticed from my commentary, I got the snuffles. So, but I wanted to tell you a little bit what's been going on with me. And instead of sitting down and doing one big recap, which I've done, and I'm not releasing that video because it's just, well, it gives all the information. It's just me sitting at a picnic table. And I didn't like it. So, it's been about 14 months since I posted my last video. And a lot has happened. I'm going to go in chronological order. Some things were discovered after other things and yada yada yada, but chronologically, what happened was, first thing is I had my eye surgery back last summer, and that went well. And I think I talked about it in another video, but I made a full recovery from that surgery. But I am slowly losing my vision. I am going blind. And I'm just hoping to stave off that until 2025. It's been getting worse and worse and worse, but not because of that surgery. That surgery actually helped alleviate things, but just too many ding-dongs and little debbies over the years. I just destroyed my my eyes, I guess. So that's happening. That's been hindering my work a little bit, but that's okay. It's also been an interesting few months as far as some other stuff went on, but that was the first thing that happened last summer. So I had that successful surgery. And then on August 2nd of last year, I stepped on a rock. I was wearing shoes, but I was an extra on the Mayor of Kingstown TV show on Paramount Plus. I played dude with right elbow, I think it was, or back of that guy's head. I forget the exact part I had, but I was an extra for there. And we were filming at a old steel mill near Pittsburgh, actually Rankin. And I was in glorified slippers because I played a prisoner. I know they had used a lot of makeup for me to look like a degenerate or a criminal. But real thin shoes, and we were in an outside prison. And these real thin shoes, I stepped on a piece of slag, which is basically the metal when you see metal, steel mills being made. Steel, let's try that over. I stepped on a piece of slag, and what slag is molten metal that pops out when they're making steel, hits the ground and makes a chunk of rock, and it's usually pretty sharp. And I stepped on it. I was wearing a shoe, and I stepped on it. Now, I mentioned in previous videos, I have type 2 diabetes, and up until July 5th of last year, I did not maintain my diabetes whatsoever. Like I said, Little Debbie was my whatever, make a joke about a chick there. Anyway, so I didn't maintain it. So again, that's why I'm going blind. And I'm not complaining. I did it to myself. I knew the possible consequences. I did it myself. Whatever. Anyway, so I stepped on this rock and didn't even realize it because I have numbness in my feet. At the end of the day, I went to go turn on my costume or uniform or whatever they call it, and my shoe was filled with blood. My sock was soaked. I had to throw those things out. But I thought it was just a blood blister or something like that. Again, I don't feel pain in my feet, which I'm fortunate in that regards, being a hiker. But went home and told the wife about it, and she looked at it and it looked like a popped blood blister. No big deal. I then filmed that gear video, the last video before the one you're looking at right now. And I don't know if you saw me limping around. If you go back and look at it, you can see me limping around a little bit, but just babying it. And then In that video, I discussed how I was going to be hiking in a couple days. I forget where I was headed. But the morning I got everything packed up. Backpack was in the truck. Everything was packed up. And I was getting dressed. And my wife said, let me look at your foot, make sure it's okay. She's a worrier. And I reluctantly later look at my foot. And it turns out it was infected. She took me to the hospital. It was infected. So canceled that hike. And began a 10-month process of healing that foot. I had a dime-sized hole in my foot. It was infected. Went to a podiatrist, wouldn't heal. Tried all kinds of therapies. By this time I'd got my sugar under control, but the damage was done. And to make a long story short, I had to get pseudo skin grafts put on the bottom of my foot. And I was not allowed to walk for 10 months. I had a special boot, but I was only supposed to wear that to the doctors to get treatments. Other than that, I wasn't supposed to even walk downstairs. So for most 10 months, except on rare occasions, I sat upstairs. My awesome wife took care of me, brought me meals, and took care of my foot, and just was an amazing caretaker and got me through it. And after 10 months, my foot was healed. And as you might imagine, that also put me 10 months behind schedule as far as my training. So it was supposed to be 24 months from couch to trail, and it actually ends up being less than a year from desk chair to trail, but that's all right. I spent that time mentally preparing, planning. Just got to kick the physical into shape, which is why we're out here today, which is why break's over. I'm going to hit the trail again. And I'll tell you, there's a lot more going on with my health. But I just wanted to give you that little bit. And of course, I'll edit it all nice and neat for you. But right now, I'm going to get off my ass and get going on the trail. Up a little bit higher, you can see the leaves aren't as green and the foliage has thinned out. And I don't know if you can see through there, but there's almost a view. When I'm back in a couple weeks here, I should have a nice view down there. You can still hear the river. The rapids are back in the distance, and we're still climbing. But I just noticed more colors and less bushes, I guess. Man, that's pretty. Climbed up a little higher on this here rock here. Get a different perspective. Oh, God. There's a step down there. Anyway. Looking down over the valley here. I don't know if you can see it through them trees there, but there's the river. And right across the way there is the Gap Trail, the Greater Allegheny Passage. And I'm also hoping to do that at the end of the month. From Cumberland, Maryland to Pittsburgh. still we go up. Almost to the top of this one. And we're at mile marker 3. Somewhere I missed 2. Don't know how. But 3 miles down. It is about 10 o'clock, so 3 miles in about 2 hours. And most of it was uphill, so not too bad. Not too bad. I feel pretty good. Looking forward to a break at the 4 mile mark, I think. Taking my pack off to rest my shoulder, but 3 miles in. Beautiful blue skies, greenery. Just saw a couple of ladies who had thru-hiked all the way from Johnstown to here. And they were 3 miles away from being done, and they were so happy. And good for them, good for them. So, it's about 4.5 miles in, I think. Taking a little break. First time I've taken my pack off today. It's about 1:30. Beautiful scenery, but well, it's beautiful woods, but not much more since those last scenes I took. As far as anything interesting, but I was telling you about my eventful year. So the hole in the foot, pig placenta. Get that taken care of. I also had the vascular surgery on my left leg where the wound is. Try to increase the blood flow there. That all combined, it took about 10 months, but that healed. So, it turns out that on one of my previous hikes, probably the one with the empty ski lodge, with that real tall grass. Well, apparently one of them little ticks got me. And turns out I had Lyme disease. I went for a prep for the vascular surgery in my leg. And previous doctor visits had showed my heart rate lower. But during that procedure, I guess my heart rate dropped to 18 beats per minute. And as it turns out, long story short, with all the ins and outs of it, everything, that I had Lyme disease. And I had to take a round of antibiotics to get rid of the Lyme disease, but it did cause some permanent damage, and I got myself a pacemaker. Fake ticky-tock, what do you want to call it? So, that was another surgery and another recovery there. Luckily, all these things that happened when I couldn't do anything with my foot anyway, so I didn't lose any time with all the surgeries. But all told, it was 8 surgeries. Eye, pacemaker, foot vascular, and I had some plumbing issues as well. So all told, I think 8, maybe 9, now that I think about it, because I had another one. But 9 different surgeries to get things taken care of. And as I said, it happened at kind of an opportune time, since I was already sitting my ass with a foot that would not heal. So, yeah, it's been an eventful 14 months since I spoke to you last. At no point did I ever think of giving up. I had a couple doctors tell me that I probably wouldn't be able to hike the trail. But I had a couple doctors that told me absolutely it shouldn't be a problem. Get this stuff taken care of now. And then I had one doctor tell me I should put it off to 2025, but I just feel if I put it off another year, then I'll never do it. So it's do or die. Not do or die, but I've set my date. And barring something massively wrong, April 1st, 2024 is when I'm heading out. So the good news, except for the pacemaker Lyme disease situation, they checked out my heart. I have no blockages. I have no issues. The pacemaker has taken care of any and all heart issues that I had, and I said there was nothing I could do about that. But this is no blockages. My cholesterol's good. My cardiologist is one of my biggest cheerleaders as far as doing this. Dr. Painley, if you see this, I love you, buddy. He's been 100% supportive, and he told me he wanted to get you on the trail, and I said that was pretty awesome. So, like I said, foot doctors and vascular doctors and diabetes doctors and eye doctors and eye surgeons and vascular surgeons, and it's just been very interesting. But I'm pretty sure my surgeries are all behind me. And like I said, good news is the foot's healed. Good news is I still have 6 months to physically train, and I have been. If anybody knows me, knows I'm not a morning person, but I get up every day at 7 o'clock in the morning, and I exercise from 7 to 8 in the morning. Different various exercises and stretching, and just trying to get things where I need to be physically. And I can tell since I began stretching from this hike. And I've done some hikes over the summer and videoed them, but none of them were any interesting, worth showing you and anything like that. But I've done some hikes and had some tenuous results. But I can tell today from stretching, and I did a hike a couple weeks ago, and I can tell from that, like, stretching versus not stretching and not working on my flexibility, I could tell the difference. So I will continue that all through the next 6 months and on to the trail next year. I'm picking up some good habits and some good ideas, and it's good. It's good. So, but I just wanted to update you on that. Told you that a long story, and I'm sure there's stuff I've been missing. But I'm going to put my pack back on and finish today's hiking. Go ahead and cook some dinner. Well, somehow we missed mile marker 4, but we are at mile marker 5, which means we have less than a mile to the shelters. Yay! All right, made it to my shelter. Still got about an hour of daylight. The water situation sucks because you can't fit the bottle under it to pump it, and it's non-potable, so I have to filter it. So it's a thing. But here's my shelter. I got a sleeping panel inflated, ground cloth down. I got dinner just about done. Having a carb bomb. Never had one before. Ramen noodles and mashed potatoes. Supposed to be some other stuff, but apparently I forgot some stuff. So supposed to go 11 miles tomorrow. I'll be real honest. It's not the could I make the 11 miles. It's the speed at which I could do it. I did 6 miles in 8 hours. The speed's got me worried because I only got 12 hours of light. If I get up at 5:30 and hit the trail at 6, it gives me 12 hours of light. And At the pace I did today, I would need 16, so I'm just not sure what I'm doing yet. I texted my wife to see what her thoughts were. Still have to hike out of here. I just don't know if I can make it to the next shelter. It was a rough day. I am definitely not in the shape I want to be. This is the toughest part of the trail that I know, but also the tough part still continues tomorrow until it gets to the easy part. Like I said, I could do 11 miles. I did 6 today, but 6 it was up and down, like some of it's sheer. You saw some of the terrain, so don't know what I'm going to do. Don't know what's going to happen yet, but I'm going to eat my dinner and see if my wife gets back to me and get comfortable and call it a night, because I am beat. And depending on what my wife messages, it depends on what time I get up in the morning. So I'm sure I'll talk to you again before I fall asleep. I just wanted to check in before dinner. So, okay, the verdict on the carb bomb. It is one of the finest culinary creations ever concocted by a human being. I used spicy sriracha ramen noodles and butter home-style mashed potatoes, a packet of pepper and 2 packets of hot sauce, 2.5 cups of water. I boiled the 2.5 cups of water with the noodles and the seasoning. Sorry, I'm very tired. The seasoning from the ramen, or as we call it, the ramen noodles. And then once that came to a boil, let that sit for a little bit, and then dumped in half a pack or less or more or something of mashed potatoes. Stirred that up and let that sit for about 5 minutes. Then dumped a pack of pepper and 2 packs of hot sauce in it and stirred that up, and delicious. It retains the heat, so that's what I'm still eating, but it is something to look forward to. Now, I haven't been on a strict chicken and green bean diet for the past 14 months, so maybe that has something to do with it, but I don't think so. This is pretty goddamn good. So, 2 thumbs up and 5 stars for the carb bomb.